Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, I appreciate the opportunity to discuss two amendments to the Homeland Security Division in H.R. 3354. My first amendment, Amendment number 41, would simply prohibit federal funds in the bill from being used for deporting any individuals granted deferred action in the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program. For many dreamers, America is the only home they've ever known. Brought across the border by their families when they were only children, more than half of them younger than 6 years old. These young people have grown up in America, gone to school in America, and made plans for their futures in America. They've gone to school, paid their taxes, served in the military, and done everything right. They are as American as anyone else in every way except in writing. But the present action threatens all that. When the DACA program was created, America made a promise to these dreamers they would be protected. Now hundreds of thousands of young people are left wondering what the future will hold for them and whether they'll be ripped away from friends, families, jobs, and communities. Congress must not sit passively by while families are torn apart. We can and must act. We should pass legislation to grant legal status to those covered under DACA. But until we do that, we should pass this amendment, which would prohibit the use of funds to deport any individual granted deferred action under DACA. This would not remove the need for legislation to grant permanent status and work authorization, but it would at the very least provide confidence that they will not be rounded up and sent back to countries they do not know. 122 would prohibit the payment of Secret Service funds to entities owned or operated by the President or his immediate family. According to USA Today, the President and his family's frequent visits to locations owned by the Trump Organization have put an unprecedented strain on the Secret Service's budget and manpower. Based on GAO estimates of comparable travel from previous administrations, each visit to a Trump Organization location by the President and his family costs an estimated $3 million to taxpayers. Much of this money is paid to the Trump Organization itself, including a substantial amount for even things like the rental of golf carts at an estimated cost of $60,000 alone to taxpayers. The President has the right to vacation wherever he would like, even if it puts a financial strain on the Secret Service. But no President has the right to profit by forcing the government to patronize his own businesses, let alone our nation's protective services. I urge the committee to make this amendment in order to protect the American taxpayer and to insist on a certain level of financial propriety when it comes to the highest office in the land. With that, I thank you and I yield back.
Good afternoon. This is Jude coming to you from Wyoming. And I was doing a little research, and they're called the American for Tax Fairness, National and State Organization endorsing ATF campaign policies. Okay, now this is a Democrat front, and these guys are huge. This one fella guy is Frank Clemente, and wait till I tell you all the organizations that are backing this up. And this is what the Democrats are going to use on the floor of the Senate, in the Congress, and in hearings to bash the hell out of Trump's tax plan. So let's get started. They're going to say, first off, that Republican Health Care Act repeal plan, tax cuts for the rich, health care cuts for everyone else. They're going to claim 24 million Americans will lose health insurance by 2026, and it will cost $600 billion. That's completely bogus. Then they're going to try the corporate tax chart book, how corporations rig the rules to dodge the taxes they owe. Now, this is all Democrat enforced, backed up stuff. Some of the guys that belong to this, American Federation of School Administration, MoveOn.org, La Raza, American for Democratic Action, Ben Arc, a Partnership for Jewish Justice, Railroad Signalmen. They're probably going to go after Pfizer. They're calling them price gougers, tax dodgers. The Walmart Web, the Walmart Taxity, Estate Repeal Editorial Board memo. Okay, now they don't want you to be able to leave your family farm to your kids, and they sure as shit don't want you to be able to leave your business to your kids. They want their cut of that pie with no unequivocal resent. I mean, they want that money. That's all there is to it. Below are 425 national and state organizations in support of Americans for Tax Fairness founding principles. All of these organizations may not support every policy or bill in Congress on which American Tax Fairness Act takes a position. Okay, you've got Alliance for Progressive Values, Alliance for Retired Americans, Association of University Women, Federation of Government Employees, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, American Federation of Teachers, Society of Aging, America Sustainable Business Council, Americans for Democratic Action, Bend the Arc, a partisan for Jewish justice, Brandon and Associate, Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen, Business for Shared Prosperity, Campaign for Americans' Future, Center for American Progress, Children's Alliance, Children's Leadership Council, CLAPS, Center for Law and Social Policy, Coalition on Human Needs, Communications Workers of America, Democracy for America, Early Child Policy Research, Financial Accountability and Corporate Transparency Fact Coalition. Here's a good one. Friends of the Earth, Gray Panthers, League of Rural Voters, Medicare Rights Center, Moms Rising, Media Matters, Alliance of HUD Tenants, Association of Social Workers, Domestic Workers Alliance, National Education Association, People's Action, PINKO, National Network, Public Citizens Congress Watch, Rebuild the Dream. Don't these all sound really, really cool? Sustainable Structures, formerly, or here's another one, UNDOS, U.S., formerly National Council of who other than La Raza, United for a Fair Economy, Working America. You know who's involved in this too? State organizations. Alaska, AFGE Local 3937, Arkansas Coalition for Peace and Justice, Teamsters Local 878, California, American for Domestic Action, Children's Defense Fund, Colorado AFL-CIO, Colorado Education Association, Colorado Progressive Coalition, Hispanics Affair Project. The list just goes on and on and on when you go to their website. Farm Workers Association of Florida, Hawaii State Teachers Associations, Indiana Alliance for Retired Americas, Iowa Citizen Action Network, Iowa Americans for Democratic Action, Kentucky Youth Advocates, Maine League of Young Voters, Maine's People's Resource Center, Maine Small Business Coalition. Let's see who else is really good. Michigan's got the Human League of Services, American Federation of Teachers. Teachers are got their fingers in this shit clean up to their eyeballs, and so do a lot of the unions. Angela's Pizzeria, Women's Drop-In Center, Big Sky, CLC, Montana, Nevada, Sierra Interfaith Action for Peace, Nevada, Stonewall Democratic Club of Southern Nevada, New York, here's a bunch, colorofchange.org, Citizens Actions of New York, North Carolina Justice Center, North Carolina Public Interest Research Group, Women's Advance, North Carolina, Ohio, Central Ohio Democratic Women's Caucus, Policy Matters Ohio, Cascade AIDS Project, Oregon, Tax Fairness, Oregon, Oregon Education Association, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island. Let's go back to Pennsylvania. Province Connections, Second Harvest Food Bank of Lehigh Valley in Northeast Pennsylvania. Another one, Americans for Domestic Action, Southern Pennsylvania. Washington Associate Steelworkers, Progressive Democrats of Washington, SEU, Washington State Council, Washington Community Action Network, Washington State Labor Council, Western Washington Fellowship of Reconciliation. Let's go to West Virginia again. West Virginia Education Association, Citizens Action Group of West Virginia, Senate on Budget and Policy, West Virginia. Wisconsin, Citizens Action of Wisconsin, Tax Fairness, Wisconsin, Institute for Wisconsin's Future. Do you know what these guys are all? These guys are all part of the swamp. This is why Frank Clemente went and met in front of, I guess, some hearings not too long ago, and is pushing his coalition's agenda of keeping taxes high so that we can pay for all these bullshit programs. And I just named a few of them there. You want to hear some more bullshit programs that Americans pay for? I have a list here of 17 agencies that could go away tomorrow and save us probably about, what did I come up with? Something like $3 trillion. Corporate for Public Broadcasting, $445 million. National Endowment of the Arts, $150 million. National Endowment of Humanities, $150 million. Minority Business Development Agency, $36 million. Economic Development Administration, $215 million. Do you know what we spend on that kind of a thing just locally? This Economic Development Administration bullshit. Ours is called CADA. And they get $460,000 from the city. They get another $460,000 from the county. And when I asked the gal that runs this CADA, where does our money go? She tells me she's a private entity and that they don't have to tell me what their salaries are or what their spendings are because they're hiding under that C34. Well, all of these ones that I just listed off hide under the same C34 or 5, I can't remember. And they don't pay any fucking taxes at all. So keep that in mind when this Frank Clemente and Chuck Schumer and these pricks from the Democrats get on the floor and start talking about all these organizations. Back to the list. International Trade Administration, $521 million. Manufacturing Extension Partnership, $142 million. Office of Community Oriented Policy, $286 million. Legal Services Corporations, $503 million. You know what that is? That is a kind of like a law firm that gives advice to everybody in every other country, but doesn't do shit for ours. Okay? That's $503 million just blown right out the door of the United States to help in other countries. Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, $156 million. Office of Violence Against Women, $480 million. Isn't that the police officer's job in the sheriff's department to take care of domestic violence against women? That could be eliminated and save us $480 million right there. Environmental and Natural Resource, $123 million. This is where your tree huggers come into play, like the Sierra Club and the Wildlands Project and all them other little cocksuckers that keep the Americans tied up in court. Overseas Private Investment, $87 million. Nobody even knows what that is, let alone what they do. There is no government oversight on any of these 17 agencies. Not a one of them. Okay, here's a good one. UN, Intergovernmental Climate Check, $1.4 trillion for this global climate bullshit. Office of Electricity Delivery, $262 million. I don't even know what they do. I mean, companies own the electric and the grids, and they take care of that stuff. So who are we paying these guys? Office of Renewable, $2.9 billion. This is how much in subsidies go to wind towers and solar panels and like Solyndra that got a whole lot of money from us and then folded up house when they went bankrupt and split, leaving the American taxpayers holding the bag. Office of Fossil Energy, $878 million. Okay, what does that do that the EPA doesn't do? Absolutely nothing. Now, the Americans for Tax Fairness. Here's their principles. It says, Americans' tax fairness was established to help make the economy work for all, with adequate levels of investment in critical areas that create and sustain jobs, and balance, and here's a kick word, equitable approach to decisions on the federal budget challenges we face. This requires raising sufficient revenues with everyone, including corporations, paying their fair